What's up, guys? I hope you're doing well. Just this past weekend, we got some crazy news that CGC is in hot water once again. It has been discovered that some of their modern casings, the inner well inside those casings are actually bending, potentially causing some of the higher grades to get damaged that wasn't there previously. So I checked a couple of my books that I got graded this year, and unfortunately, I did see some of those inner wells bending. This isn't fun. Both of these books are actually signed by Frank Miller. So here I have my Daredevil 183 signed by Miller there at the bottom. Then I have Daredevil 179 signed by Miller right on the forehead. And actually the 183 is kind of the worst offender here. The 179 is bent, but the book seems to be fine. However, this one is a book, I press and clean both of these before I got them signed and sent them off to get graded. But this one has the phantom bends down here that people are talking about. It's also definitely way more bent than this one is. This one just kind of has a slight bend to it. Actually, no, that's not slight, that's a significant bend. But it doesn't look like it's causing any phantom bends on the spine. Honestly, looking at these two, just kind of as they sit in the case, I would guess that this is closer to a 9.6 than this is. This kind of looks more like a 9.2, 9.4. Both of these were in very similar conditions when I got them graded, or when I got them signed and then sent them off to get graded. So it's a little bummed out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull out some of my moderns. I actually just got back a modern CGC submission maybe about 2-3 weeks ago now. So I'm going to pull those books out and we're going to check. I'm also going to check out some of my other slabs, and I'm going to check some of the CBCS slabs that I have graded as well to see if we see any damage on their inner wells. If at any point in time you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to the video if you haven't already. It means a ton. And if you want a cool comic book podcast to listen to, I host one with my co-host, Mr. Longbox, called the Comic Room Pod, so check that out if there's something you're interested in. Okay, so this is kind of my comic closet here. These are all of my raws. These are all my CGC slabs and CBCS slabs. I used to have a light in here, but my cat broke it, so shout out my cat Ahsoka. These are my Silver Age. So by the sound of it, Silver Age and Bronze Age, Golden Age books are okay. It's the modern ones that are kind of facing the issue. So yeah, let's take a look. Okay, I got the first box here. This one actually has a couple CBCS signed books, so let's check out this one. This is Breaking Bad, signed by Giancarlo Esposito. As you can see, this is a newer one. It's got the newer label on it. It is laying perfectly flat. I do not see any bends. Yeah, that is laying perfectly flat. Nice. All right, so CBCS book number 1, it seems clear. Okay, this is Deadpool's Secret Wars number 2. I got this at New York Comic Con last year, so it's been almost a year. Let's see, use a little QR code on the back. Let's see when I actually got it graded. I believe it was late last year or early this year. So this was graded, yeah, this was graded January of this year. So let's check this out. This one actually kind of, yep, this one has a bend. If you can see here, this is like lifted up. This is touching the case. This is lifted up again. So that is quite concerning. Okay, so it's important to note here that there's like, we haven't really heard anything from CGC, so we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, what their explanation is. If this is something that's supposed to be happening, I guess we don't really know. This doesn't seem like something that should be happening in the case. Let me actually pull out this CBCS case again so that I can show you guys. Okay, so based on the way that like these cases are designed, I think it's going to be pretty hard to pick up. Again, I probably won't be able to notice or like tell you guys if it's caught until I'm in post-production editing, but yeah, that's at least the best look that I can give you for a CBCS slab. Okay, so back to that Deadpool book, the first cover of Gwenpool. So that was back in January. So I also have a couple books here, both 9.8s. I'm only going to pick up one, but these were graded. These are the ones that I just got back a couple weeks ago. This is Detective Comics 575, iconic year 2 cover issue. This one's not McFarlane, but part of that run where McFarlane did some art. And I'm looking in here. Okay, this one, it is bent or it does have a bend rather. But I would say the bend is more at the bottom of the book on this side. I would say it's kind of like more flat and then comes up towards the end. Let's see if we can get a good look at that. So yeah, up right here it goes up. You can see the space between the casing and the book. Here there's not much space between the casing and the book, and then it goes back up right here. So that's kind of the bend that we're talking about. So right now we are 3 for 3, 4 for 4 technically. My 2 Daredevil signed books and these 2 books that I've just showed you guys right now. Okay, so now I'm going to take a look at this New Mutants 98 book. This is a book that I got graded probably 2 years ago now. Okay, this one's pretty, this one's fine. I would say that this one is good. I can't see this one that well for some reason, but I don't know if you guys can tell. So this is definitely going to be the older casing before the discoveries of the reholder situation. I guess you guys can just trust me or even check your own, but this one is fine. This one's normal. So let's check the year. This was graded on August 31st, 2023. So yeah, seems like slabs from a year ago from CGC are okay. Okay, so that Batman book and that first Deadpool are both books from the late 80s, early 90s. So let's check in with a 9.8 book. I got this graded, just checked, in June of 2023. This is Spider-Gwen number 24. This is the first cover appearance of Gwenom. So let's check here. Okay, so this one actually does have a bend. I'm not seeing anything on the book that I would say bumps this out of a 9.8 range. I would say this is still a 9.8 looking at it, but it does have the curve. Let's see if you guys can get a good look there. It does have a bend, but I will say this book is still 9.8 presenting. Here we got actually an older CBCS slab. This is from a couple years ago. This is the first appearance of Echo, signed by David Mack. I'm going to take a look here. I will say it is a little hard to tell. What's up, guys? This is post-production editor Spro here, and just wanted to let you guys know that I actually gave these slabs a little bit of a closer look, and I actually noticed that the CBCS slabs hold the inner well completely in its place, that the inner well doesn't move at all. So it seems like the space that the inner well exists within the plastic is much tighter compared to CGC, which notoriously has a lot of room for the inner well to move around. So I think this is part of what contributes to the fact that CBCS inner wells lay flat while CGC inner wells do not. Anyways, just thought that was something worth noting. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. Because of the design of the slab, but from what I can see, I'm not seeing any boats bend banana shape. It does look like it's laying flat to me. Give you guys a look, see if you guys can notice anything, but I think it looks fine to me. So I actually do like this slab a lot. I think they went a little bit lighter on the newer slabs, but honestly, I've always preferred CBCS cases. It's just something about holding it that it feels really good when you're holding this book. So that was my first case of moderns. We did find some bends in a couple CGCs. Some of them seemed to be affected. Others didn't seem to be affected too bad. Like we saw the boat on the Gwenom, but it didn't have any damage that I would say made it not a 9.8. All right, this is another book that I just got back recently. So this would 100% have been the redesign on the case. This is Defenders 107. This is actually a homage to Punch 12. Something I do want to note with this book is that this was actually a grade bump that I pressed and cleaned. So this used to be an 8.5. It is now a 9.4. So there's really only one color breaking crease on this cover, and everything else looks fine. There is the bend on this book, but again, this one's kind of only at the bottom. However, I will say, I don't have a before and after picture, but where it starts to go up is actually exactly where the bend is. So the bend starts right here. Let's see if we can get me at a screen. Don't know if you can see that, but the bend starts right there, and actually that's where the color color breaking tick is. I'm assuming that was there before, but interesting that that is where the bend starts to occur. I don't know if that's just the muscle memory of paper or if that's something that the inner weld did, but I'm probably gonna safely say that there was that spine tick there before. This is from when the book was in the 8.5 slab before. You can see the color breaking tick right there. So this book seems like it's safe from the damage. So yeah, those are some of my modern books that seem to be affected by bend-gate. Some of them are bent, but it doesn't look like any added damage is being done to the book, which I guess is a good thing. But my question with that would be, what is the longevity of that? Will the bend at some point just keep causing tension and then cause spine ticks? I don't really know. So I hope CGC comes out and gives us an answer, hopefully some comfort with that, or maybe even, you know, reslabbing or whatever it may be. CGC has kind of had a bad year as far as their PR goes, and honestly at this point it just feels like it's kind of hard to trust that your books are going to be safe. Of course we'll have to wait to see what they say about this situation, but I feel like this is kind of enough, all that's happened in the past year with CGC, that I might just take my money elsewhere and not just want to be associated with kind of what's going on with that. At least as far as my modern books go, CGC is dominating the market space as far as value for your graded books, but maybe that will change. So let me know in the comments, do you guys think that this will be where the tide turns and goes in favor of CBCS? Not really sure. Will be interesting to see how CGC responds to this, and even more so how CBCS capitalizes on this opportunity. I really only grade my books for two reasons. One, the book is worth way more graded than it is raw, mostly meaning that it's a high grade valuable book that when kind of gets into the high grade range, you kind of have a more firm fair market value price that you can set on instead of negotiating the condition and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So there's that. And then the second reason is long-term protection. If there's some books that I just really love and I don't plan on selling and I think I want to display it somewhere, then I'll get it graded. It's actually the case for a book like this. This is Daredevil 7, the Peach Momoko variant. This is not going to be any more valuable than it was in the slab than outside of the slab. But this is just a really cool cover. I want to display it at times, so that's why I got it graded. So yeah, those are kind of the two reasons why I get books graded. If you want my full thoughts on grading, then go check out this week's episode of the Comic Room Pod, where me and Mr. Longbox talk about this, and we talk about the case for grading and the case against grading, no pun intended. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you guys, and I will catch you on the next one.